podcast music, which I have rolling throughout this entire thing. Cool. Kind of sets the vibe. This podcast is about obviously many things, but foremost, it's about getting in touch with your, I don't want to go too hippie on you, but that greater part of yourself. If you want to call it the unifying field, if you want to call it God, your higher self, your consciousness, you on your subconscious level, it doesn't matter. But getting in touch with the sacred and trying to be the best that you can be. That whole Elliot House
that thing, sort of vibe.
Which we were talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters around the world, you are in for a treat tonight. We got, I was going to say Elliot House, but we basically have our own version of Elliot House over here, who is this great personal trainer on the interwebs. We have Haydn Dinsdale, personal trainer, life coach. Is there a difference? I don't know. Bodybuilder.
Subtle.
All vegan, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Still managed to get those incredible muscles with that diet.
That's it.
I met you like, I don't know, I think it's about a month ago now.
Be coming up to that, yeah.
At the vegan festival, and I'm like, what? Saw this swolled up dude. I'm like, what the heck is this dude, man? I thought I was buff, but look at this. And this vegan festival over here. And look, I love seeing people that are obviously in good shape. And a lot of people have the idea it's very hard to do that on a plant-based diet, but clearly not. It just takes a bit of discipline.
Yeah, well, you're doing quite well yourself, you know.
Oh, thanks, man. You know,
you got the dancer physique going on.
Absolutely, I got these freaking hunky muscles going on. Oh wait, I just realized I didn't have the camera on. Damn it! People can get to see me show my amazing muscles, but it's all good. You shall see that soon enough.
Is this like a live thing, or does it just record?
It is live. It is recording as of now. Before it was just recording the audio. My silliness didn't realize I didn't have the camera on. But let's get the show on the road. Ladies and gentlemen, freaks and geeks, welcome to the Crystal Journey podcast, where we talk about everything that's going on in my life, music, women I'm dating, talk about amazing athletes like Haydn Dinsdale that we have in the house right now. We're going to spend the next 45 to an hour getting into what makes Haydn Dinsdale the amazing personification of vegan masculinity that he is. Let's get the show on the road. All right, a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's do this thing. Boom shakalaka.
Now you put water into a cup.
Okay, so my
It becomes
intro
the
music.
cup.
You
put
comfortable
water
there?
into a
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
It becomes the water. You put it in a teapot. It
Wonderful.
becomes the tea.
Big fan of Bruce Lee.
Now
These are
water
some of
can
my
flow,
favorite inspirational
or it
speakers
can
that have
crash.
been amalgamated into
Our
this
deepest fear is not that we are inadequate.
clip.
Our deepest fear is that
Okie dokie. Just remove this over here. And here you are. Bro, you were looking good, man. You know, I was checking out your Facebook page, and you look like that guy from, was it Bill and Ted's? You know?
Dude.
Yeah.
Do you know how much I've got that forever?
It's kind of hard to see. I'm guessing people find it a little hard to see because you don't have the curly hair, but there's this character in Bill and Ted that you very much resemble.
Bill S. Preston Esquire.
Oh man, Bill S. Preston. Oh, bro, it's been so long since I've seen that.
Yeah.
I remember that name.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, those are the days.
Yeah, I used to get that a bit, actually. He's a dude.
So Hayden, my brother, welcome to my podcast studio.
Oh, thank you for
It's
having
pretty
me.
cool, is it not? I
Mr. Crishul.
I know you were admiring my my internet technical skills before. I have everything hooked up over here.
Quite savvy.
Absolutely. My friend, I was explaining to everyone, I met you, I think, a month ago
Yeah, it was. About a month
at
ago.
the Vegan Festival.
Indeed.
And I was totally impressified by your amazing physique.
Yeah.
And, bro, it is so refreshing, as I was saying, to see that there are people out there on a plant-based diet. As you know, everyone, I'm a bit of a vegan hippie. Not full vegan, but pretty much almost there. I know there's a lot of people call themselves vegan, but do you want to explain to people what a vegan is? Because you probably understand this better than anyone. Because I know it's more than just being on a plant-based diet.
Yeah, so basically the concept of vegan is basically no animal products. So
Okay.
That basically eliminates...
So no chicken?
Yeah, no chicken, obviously. Yeah, no meat, no dairy, eggs, and abstaining from using products tested on animals.
All right.
Yeah.
And what was it that brought you into that way of
Yeah,
being...
good question. About 3 years ago, I was living in Canada. Pardon me.
All right.
Yeah, I was living in Canada, and it basically was as simple as a mate. Could not tell you who, when, why, how it got to my Facebook page, but someone sent me just a link to a sort of behind the scenes, a meet your meat type film, if you will, but not that.
It wasn't Earthlings?
No. It was actually in another language. It
Okay.
was a Russian or maybe Polish. I don't know.
Yeah, but the imagery was harsh enough, yeah.
But
that,
yeah,
that set the stage.
Basically, what you witnessed on there was enough to sort of go, oh, okay, there's some things that need changing.
I know.
As we're about that point when I
Yeah.
sort of said, all right, well, definitely giving up the meat straight up.
Mm.
And then it was just I don't know, probably about a month transition between sort of watching some more films,
Yeah.
going through like Earthlings and like your Food Inks and all that.
Yeah. So was it more of was it done kind of up here in the head brain kind of thing that made you change? Like, this doesn't seem like a logical thing to do, or were you just shocked by the imagery in that Meet Your Meat documentary that you checked out? Because I know that a lot of those documentaries are graphic, and a lot of people get pissed off when you show them that kind of stuff because it just makes you feel like shit.
Yeah, no, exactly. I didn't feel like shit when I watched it. I saw it and I went, geez, that's pretty gnarly. Not like not something I'd want to support, obviously. And I think you sort of join the dots back and you think back to different times in your life where you may have witnessed, some sort of animal cruelty or something like that, and you sort of go, oh, that's right. I felt, a bit at the time in the heart.
Absolutely. Respect, man. Can I just give you a fist bump?
Yeah.
Anytime anyone says they felt this thing in the heart right here, I want to give them a fist bump because that's exactly how I felt, man. It's like, I don't want to feel like that. That
absolutely.
sucks. And look, there are many arguments. To me, the emotional one is the biggest. It's kind of devoid of logic. It's not devoid of logic, but it transcends that. On an intuitive level, like right here, I just feel as if I can't be part of that kind of shit, you know? And I'm familiar with all the arguments that are for living in an environment where we eat our meat and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of the Joe Rogan Experience, and he's constantly butchering vegans about how they don't know what the frack they're talking about, and like, look, it's just how things are, blah 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 blah. There are a lot of good arguments, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to be able to, look at yourself in the mirror and be copacetic about what you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't. There are always going to be people that are going to want to put up a fight. There's always going to be two sides to the coin, you know.
Absolutely.
But it comes down to that, man. You got to go with what you feel is right. And the thing is, I think everyone when they first hear that you're going vegan or whatever, they assume you're going to be malnourished and da 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 da.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the hardest bit.
I wish the audience could see your mouth. Can you like flex or something right now? I'm gonna have to.
Where's the camera?
The camera. You just do it in front of the. Yeah. Whoa, bro. Be close. I want them to see your biceps, man. But trust me, ladies and gentlemen, Haydn over here is freaking swole. And look, if people want to tell you that vegans cannot get big muscles, you don't know what you're talking about. You got to check out Billy Simmons.
Oh, dude.
And
yeah,
look,
I've
seen. I was checking out some of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, right?
Yeah.
Going through them, and one of them is a vegetarian. Get his name.
Bill Pearl.
Bill Pearl, yes, was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
You know your shit, son. You know your shit.
I'm all up in
Fan
that.
of Elliot House, fan of Bill Pearl.
Yeah.
And this guy is swole as frack, man. So look, there you go. I mean, of course you can get to that level of awesomeness, physically on a plant-based diet. I mean, look, I wanted to ask you before we digress too much. We were talking about how obviously when you first started this diet, you would have had to overcome a lot of negative criticism from people around you.
Yeah.
How was that experience? I mean,
You just like
what did you tell people when they were telling you that, look, you shouldn't be on this thing? Your parents, I'm sure.
Not so much. I never really had any.
Didn't give you a hard time, no?
No, not that much. It was. I think the main thing was when it first happened, and I think this is a mistake a lot of vegans make too, is when they first do make the change. You've just found all this new information, right? You've just discovered all these things that you didn't know. You've had your eyes opened up, and you're like, holy shit. There's so much I need to learn, and you delve, and you just want to tell everyone. You go out there, you're putting things up everywhere. You're like, guys, check this shit out.
Absolutely.
Are you aware that this is happening?
And you become one of those irritating vegan hippies.
Exactly.
Like people like, oh, Hayden, really again? Come on, man, get the fuck out of here, man. I don't need your vegan hippie shit.
Yeah. So you do cop a little bit of flack from that, but what I found is just not being so, forthcoming, if you will, with it
Don't
to
push
other
it.
people. Don't push it too much. Just sort of just do your own thing. And when people are curious, they'll ask. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Well said.
So if you're just sort of bombarding people and saying, "Hey, do this," they're gonna just out of pure defensiveness, just instinctive defense, they're gonna say, "Hey, well, back up." But if you sort of just take your time. I've had a couple of mates who've at least tried going vegan, and they probably wouldn't have done that beforehand,
Yeah.
So,
But just through being around you, through osmosis, I think that's the right word. I like using big words like that. Just coming into your awesomeness, rather, they've slowly taken on these ideals without you having to
force it upon
advertise, force it upon. And I'm probably one of the few, vegetarian slash almost vegan people
Yep.
out there that doesn't push it. Most of my friends don't even know I'm vegetarian or vegan because
Yep.
I don't advertise this stuff. Yeah, I talk about my podcast and I have a big mouth, but I'm the kind of person that wants to get along with everyone. I want to be as diplomatic as I can, and even if it's a topic which I know is unbelievably right and I feel in my heart is going to benefit them, I won't bring it up because it's going to sometimes push them in the wrong direction.
You're going to ruffle feathers, so to speak.
Absolutely. And look, I know it's a very contentious issue. Like, I know that they're going to be people that are listening to this stuff and probably switch it off already because they're like, oh, you vegan hippies are going to rant on about how this stuff is good for you. And they're under the mindset that, look, it's a bad idea. Humans are made to eat meat. And look, whereas I disagree emphatically with you, I feel as if, what am I trying to say? Bottom line is I'm trying to be as diplomatic as I can be, and part of me feels as if I have to at least open people up to the possibility that it is potentially a beneficial diet. I mean, the sheer fact that I'm living a life, I'm thriving on it. I've competed in athletics myself. I competed in the nationals, triple jump. I was a penultimate state champion in long jump.
Wow.
I've done, and I was in a vegetarian diet. I mean, in all honesty, probably had nothing to do with my diet. I found coming from West Africa, Ghana, when I came here, I think there are certain events like I found in athletics that I was just naturally good at. Like you find a lot of sprinters that come from West Africa because they're really fast. That's what I've heard. Not trying to toot my horn or anything, but what can I say? West Africans, we know how to sprint, yo. So doing those events was really. But what I'm trying to say is I've competed on a high level athletically on this kind of diet, and I've thrived. And look, you can look at all the scientific evidence you want for or against, but the bottom line is that there are people that are thriving on this diet. You, a freaking personal trainer. Do we have Bill Pearl? Do we have to go through all the amazing athletes? Carl Lewis. You can go through so many. Mike Tyson recently became a vegan.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, hey?
Absolutely. There are a lot of people talk about how it's not something that you can maintain for a long period of time. What the frack are you talking about? We really want to have a look at the statistics. The oldest person in New York, if he hasn't died off, is a vegan. I mean, I don't want to throw all the statistics at you, but the bottom line, unequivocally, definitively, is that you can maintain a healthy lifestyle. And yes, I get wilded up when I talk about this kind of stuff, because it is something I'm passionate about. But once again, I don't want to be one of those irritating dudes that lives up to that idea of how do you tell if someone is a vegan? They tell you within the first second, that kind of shit.
That's so
you
true.
don't want to be one of those people.
Yeah.
And I know you're not, man. But we're going to spend the next 45 minutes or so talking about veganism and the pros and the cons for it. I mean, obviously, you've been doing this for some time now.
Yeah, 3 years now.
What are some of the benefits that you found living this lifestyle?
Clear conscience, man.
Clear conscience?
That's the biggest thing for me. A lot of people go on and they're like, oh, I've got all this.
What about plants, man? They have feelings too.
Oh, shit. If I had $1 for every time I've heard that one.
Yeah. How do you deal with that kind of shit?
You just fucking backslap. Can I swear? Can I swear?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want to. I'm not gonna.
This is an explicit podcast. You can say what you want. It's
sometimes
all about
it just
realness.
happens. So it's you just can't help it. But you got to backhand some people sometimes.
I try to stay clear of that stuff.
Get your pimp hand out.
Yeah, you see, that's the funny thing. You have a pimp hand and you're a vegan. Most people assume that vegans are like anemic. I don't want to fight. I'm a pacifist. I believe in all love. I want to go hug a tree. But yes, you can be a vegan. There are UFC fighters that are vegans. I think.
Mac Danzig.
Yeah, you know your shit.
I think Matt Wyman might have
Absolutely.
been as well.
There are quite a few of them. I want to say. Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, Jake Shields is.
Jake Shields. I was thinking of him.
Yeah.
But considering there's only like 1% of the world's population that are vegans, I mean, ratio-wise, they're doing pretty well in the athletic arena. This myth that you somehow cannot perform well is redonkulous, and it's not even a recent thing. People have this idea that veganism is only a recent thing in the last 100 years, man. You can't thrive in these third world scenarios unless, of course, you're eating meat. Bullshit, man. I'm a big student of history. I want to sound intellectual. I'm not. I just happen to listen to a podcast called Hardcore History by Dan Carlin. I love that shit. And I've spent the last year learning about history. But look, I've also done a fair amount of research, and you can trace vegetarian diets to way back. The ancient gladiators, believe it or not, lived on a vegetarian diet. And that sounds like crazy. Believe me, go cross-reference this information. They were known as the barley men. Their diet was not predominantly, it was for the most part, definitively, if not all, vegetarian. They did this for a number of reasons. Apparently, this sounds like crazy logic, but apparently it made them more resistant towards blows or something like that, or there's some kind of weird. I know that sounds crazy, but apparently it gave him this kind of physique that was more in line with fighting. Obviously, it was better for cardio. There was a tremendous amount of scientific information supporting this. They recently found a site in Turkey where they dug up the bones of these people. There was a site for gladiators, and they had to look at the levels of whatever it is, the levels of strontium, whatever scientific elements that you find in their bones, and they found that they had high levels of whatever it was that showed that they were either not just vegetarians, like on vegans practically.
Wow.
Like absolutely. This is an area of Turkey. Apparently the diet of these guys, they can actually find this by doing all this scientific testing and whatnot.
Testing.
Absolutely. And they found that these people in Turkey, they were on vegan diets, but it is a well-known historical fact that the ancient gladiators, they were vegetarians. They're known as the barley men. Now these guys, they're supposed to be the shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were living...
When crunch comes to crunch, they're the dudes you want on your side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And look, without a doubt, for anyone that's listening to this is completely against this idea of living on a plant-based diet, without a doubt, it is a controversial issue. A lot of arguments made about how you need protein and all this kind of stuff. And look, you may be right. It may be complete and utter bullshit. The scientific evidence may be completely against it. But the fact of the matter is that there are people that are thriving on this diet. The idea that you somehow cannot live a long life, a healthy life, and obtain a level that is just, I would argue, potentially just as good, if not better in certain areas, on a physiological level, than someone that is on a meat-based diet. Yeah, it is ridiculous, the fact that you can't do that. And the fact that on a moral level, at least in my perspective, look, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm talking too much. This is about you, man.
No, carry on. Man, this is like a history lesson for me right here.
Yeah, man, I thought I might drop some knowledge in you, Haydn, but I know you're well versed in this shit, but I just feel as if I want to get this stuff off my chest. So
Dude.
This podcast is very cathartic to
Vent.
me. Yeah, I have all these thoughts in my head, and it gives me an opportunity to release all that. And basically what I was saying, from a moral point of view, I know a lot of people make the argument that, look, you're eating vegetables, you're eating plants, and they're alive as well. I'm a firm believer in the idea that plants are definitely aware on a level. There's definitive scientific evidence, but they do not have a central nervous system. They do not have the ability to appreciate. They do not respond to pain on the same level. Yes, they have senses, but they do not having a central nervous system means that they can't interpret that pain.
Yeah.
Pain is something that animals, organisms have so that they react to.
Well, it's as simple as this, man. I remember reading ages ago. Basically, it was just someone's opinion. They said, if it's got the ability to scream when it's in pain,
Absolutely,
it's probably got feelings. I.e., animals, plants, they're not screaming when you cut them up. Fish are probably the exception, being silent. But
I mean, without a doubt, they're definitely organisms. And they feel pain, but
absolutely.
At the end of the day, look, I'm gonna try to be as impartial as I can. And look, in fairness, I probably have some confirmation bias on at least from a moral level, but logically, life eats life on some level.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's animals, whether or not it's plants, whether or not it's freaking sunlight, you know what I mean? You're turning that into some form of energy. But at the end of the day, I think what we're all trying to do is minimize the harm that we put out there into the world. And I think one of the best ways to do that, at least that I've come to realize, is by having a vegetarian close to vegan diet. Yeah. And people do that through different ways. There's some people that do so by going out there and planting trees or giving clothes to the poor. At the end of the day, you're trying to minimize that stuff. Yeah. Purely from my perspective, I just want to do what I can to minimize that, and I'm doing that by cutting my consumption of animals and all that kind of stuff to zero. So that's what it essentially comes down to. You're trying to minimize the amount of pain, the amount of suffering that you cause in this world. Yeah. I mean, if I asked anyone if they could live their entire life having all the fun, all the excitement, all the joy that they wanted to, without hurting anyone in the process, I would say 99.9% of people would say, yeah, they would love to do that. And the fact that my contention is that, yes, you basically can do that. You can live a full life not harming animals. And why on earth wouldn't you do so?
Man, Buddhists have been doing it for years, eh?
Absolutely. Well, what's your whole philosophical... I know you're a bit of a deep thinker, being a fan of Elliot Hulse. Do you take on a Buddhist philosophy on life?
Yeah.
What's your attitude towards...
I'll tell you what, I don't think I'm necessarily... I don't take on any one particular philosophy. I wouldn't say I conform to, Buddhism or any religion of any type. I basically just live off the principles of any, every religion's got their pros and their cons.
Mm.
So, it's simple. They say, saying the Christian faith, you got your 10 Commandments, and they've got these sort of good things. Don't root your neighbour's missus, and all that.
Yeah.
It's just morals, man. It's like you don't even need a book to tell you that. You should just know.
Yeah.
So I just try and be a good dude in general, and
Absolutely.
live by my own sort of standards.
Like right here, you just feel it within the heart. You know what? On an intuitive level, you kind of feel.
You've got to be intuitive. You've got to be in touch with your own. You got to be self-aware.
Absolutely. I could not, bro. Respect. I want to give you another fist bump. It's like probably overdoing
Loving
it, man.
the fist
But man,
bumps.
I'm feeling what you said right there. It's spoken like a true hippie or a philosopher. I mean, I tend to subscribe to the idea of a transcendental approach towards life or religion, and that's to rather than focusing on one particular system, I try to take what works for me. You know what I mean? Like the Buddhist religion is what you call transcendental religion, because you can be a Christian Buddhist, you can be an Islamic Buddhist. It's not about a dogmatic viewpoint that is rigid. It's about taking on this principle that you can apply to anything, and it's not restrictive. And what I got from you is that you're basically taking on what works for you, and you're using basically your heart to discern whether or not something is right or wrong.
Yeah.
As opposed to being set in a rigid paradigm or a religion of some sort that tells you that this is how it's done and you can't move away from that.
Absolutely.
And that's how I feel.
You got to live by your own rules, I think. And just do unto others. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
Treat people as you'd like to be treated. Treat
Golden rule.
animals as you like to be treated. It's just for everything. It just applies everywhere.
So were you brought up under that kind of mindset, or is that something that you recently?
I never really had
took on?
any strong religious views or anything growing up. I think in the last few years, I've probably gone out of my way to sort of, I guess, explore these ideas more. So, obviously we were talking before about Elliot Hulse, who's a strongman.
The great Elliot Hulse. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to check out Elliot. This guy is the quintessential strongman philosopher. He's what this whole podcast is what it aspires to, the idea of being the universal man, a Renaissance man, a man of sound body, mind, and spirit. Yeah.
That's it. He's all about being the strongest version of yourself, which is obviously a direct quote from him. And that's the sort of thing. Like I'll take things that he says, and he even says don't agree with everything he says. You've got to think for yourself.
Absolutely.
It's all about evolution, man. It's you got to evolve mentally as well as physically.
Absolutely. And
spiritually as well. So I listen to especially lately I listen to a lot of Alan Watts.
Oh man, I love you more the more you talk. Any person that is a fan of Alan Watts is a friend of mine.
He's a god.
Alan. I got into Alan Watts about a year ago, and I mean, without a doubt, the content of his information is fantastic. But it's like listening to music. He has this way of expressing himself that is, even though it's words, it's so melodic and it resonates with you, with your heartstrings. And it's like I'm tuning into like Mozart or some shit like that. It's just feeding my mind, and it's so uplifting hearing his perspective on life. You've listened to all of his stuff, yeah?
Yeah. His voice is like just sex. Oh,
yeah.
It
Yeah. No, I'm feeling you, man. I know that probably came across as very gay, but I'm feeling you. On the like it resonates with, once again, your heartstrings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you come from the whole philosophical.
You must find the real you.
The real you.
That was my Alan Watts impersonation. It's really bad. I'm not going to do that ever again.
All right. I was actually hearing. I wasn't sure if I was hearing Australian, South African. I couldn't hear the English in that. Man.
It just went sideways. It just didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you one. I haven't had enough practice.
Wait,
You must find. No, that just sounds like Sean Connery. That's the only accent I can pull up. You must find the real you. No, he's more like, you must find. No, I can't do it.
That was like Scottish.
You must find the real you. No.
Wait, no, hold on.
Here we go. Come on, give it a shot. Alan Watts.
At the end of the day,
That's good.
what is it that you want? Because it is the money that you are working for. Oh, that was pretty good, eh?
Bruh, that was. I felt like I was
fucking like channeled that shit.
That you nailed that. You nailed it that time. I felt like
You'll
I was.
never be happy. What you must do is it?
Oh, bro, you know what? I gotta play. I'm not sure if people recognize just how awesome that is. A lot of people that are listening to this may not know who Alan Watts is, and you were reciting one of the greatest Alan Watts speeches about finding what you truly want to do. I've listened to that like 100 times. Man.
Yeah.
Like realistically, maybe like three dozen times. All right, and you nailed that, man. You nailed that.
That was good. I've never done
It
that
was
before.
good. Yeah. At the end of the day, you must find. He has a bit of a Obama cadence, but without all that shitty political, pausing and whatnot.
That's it.
Obama's more like, we must bomb Syria because it is the right thing to do. But Alan Watts obviously makes a lot more sense than Obama. But wait, let's check this out. Alan Watts. There it is. It's the first thing that comes up. I've checked it out like 1,001 times.
Yeah,
Man.
that's it.
But this, ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness one of the most profound speeches in all of philosophy. It allows you to gain insight into what this whole journey is about.
Everyone should hear this, hey?
Everyone should hear this.
Are you going to play the whole thing?
I am going to play the whole thing.
Awesome.
I think we're going to enjoy this. Let's do it. Alan Watts. What if money... I sent this to one of my friends that's all about... He wants to be the richest person he can possibly be. And I'm like, why are you doing that, man?
Yeah.
And,
What makes you itch? What sort of a situation would you like? Let's suppose, I do this often in vocational guidance of students. They come to me and say, well, we're getting out of college and we haven't the faintest idea
every
what we want to
person
do.
that has just finished year 12
So I
and is
always
trying to
ask the
consider
question,
what they want to spend the
what would
next
you like to do if money were
60,
no
70
object?
years doing, should seriously
How
consider
would
what
you
want to spend.
really enjoy spending your life? Well, it's so amazing. As a result of our kind of educational system, crowds of students say, well, we'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way. Or another person says, well, I'd like to live an out-of-doors life and ride horses. I said, do you want to teach in a
I can
riding
see you getting all
school?
meditative with this, yeah. His voice is giving you a jizz or
Let's
something,
go
right?
through with it. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm feeling it too.
When we finally got down to
This is
something
Kyle
which the
Day.
individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that. And forget the money.
Again.
Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid.
That's what I love about it. It's so logical.
Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And after all, if you do really like what you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is, you can eventually turn it, you could eventually become a master of it. The only way to become a master of something is to be really with it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is.
Get payday, yo.
So don't worry too much. Somebody's interested in everything. And anything you can be interested in, you'll find others will. But it's absolutely stupid to spend your time doing things you don't like in order to go on spending things you don't like, doing things you don't like, and to teach your children to follow in the same track. See, what we're doing is we're bringing up children and educating them to live the same sort of lives we're living, in order that they may justify themselves and find satisfaction in life by bringing up their children, to bring up their children to do the same thing, so it's all wretch and no vomit. It never gets there. And so, therefore, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire?
What do I want? That's what it all comes down to.
What is that?
How freaking sweet is that, man?
That is possibly
I'm
the
so
best 3
glad
minutes.
that we shared that moment together, bro. Because I know you were feeling that. You were feeling that shit, weren't you?
Yeah.
Give me my fist bump, man. We're feeling that. Feel that. Yeah. I'm freaking insane, man. But it is so. It's cool when you. I remember seeing this meme about finding someone, meeting someone, and hey, you're into that. I'm into that. No, wait, you're a vegan. So am I. What, you like Elliot House too? Hey, me too. It's like the coolest moment when you meet someone like that is into the same stuff that you are. That's like friendship, and it's like, it's the masterpiece of life. And I just really love the fact that you're into this video, because that is one of my favorite videos without a doubt. And yeah, man, what to say about that, eh? No doubt you thought about. I mean, you were at a point where you were considering what you wanted to do. You were a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Is that something that you always wanted to do? Were you doing something initially
all.
that?
No, not at all. I've always been a floater, man. Always floated about. So yeah, I spent a few years
Okay,
doing
floater. I thought you were talking about like floaters and shits. You know, like you've always floated around and
always just
toilet
sat in
water
the
and
bowl,
like
just
I know.
floated.
But obviously, you mean someone that didn't really have a set course as what you wanted to achieve.
Yeah, not really. Just sort of always. I've been pretty adaptable.
Mm.
I think that's probably one of the better qualities.
Yeah.
Just to be able to adapt to any environment, and it was purely out of interest, my own interest in gaining knowledge in health. Then I started, and I went, you know what, I could make this a career. And now it's, who knows, I may in 10 years from now, I may not even, may just be somewhere, I may be flying planes, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like to sort of be open to ideas and just go where the heart wants to go.
Yeah. But it's awesome the fact that you found something that you obviously enjoy doing, and you're able to. I mean, you're telling me that you do this 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
You're able to make a living doing this thing, which is a big deal considering that most people. I would go as far as saying 70. Even that's just being, 70%. I don't think is overstating it all. Most 70% of people in the world are doing something that they don't enjoy doing.
Absolutely.
And that is actually a serious deal.
Yeah.
You have only a certain amount of time on this finite planet. I think about this all the freaking time. Just today, every time I hear about one of my friends passing away, or I don't want to mention any names, but basically someone that is pretty close to me. Their wife just found out they had a form of cancer.
Yep.
And it was just breast cancer initially, but they found out it's actually in the bone. It's very serious.
Yep.
And I felt bad about the whole situation, but probably felt bad more so the fact that it made me realize that I was more concerned about myself at the time, because it made me realize that right now I'm thinking I only have a certain amount of time. This shit could happen to me. You know what I mean? I mean I should probably feel bad about her more, but I'm just thinking to myself, I gotta start doing shit, man. I want to do something that I love doing, because you never know when it's gonna be up, right?
That's exactly
And
right.
unless of course you're in it. Rather than playing this game, I'm gonna do this when I in 10 years time. You think you're gonna probably live till you're 60, but you may be here. You may not be here next year. You know what I mean? Next year's only not even a month away.
Yeah.
So you might as well live your life doing what you love doing. And as the great Alan Watts says, can't quite nail his voice like you did, find something you love doing, become ridiculously good at it, and then hit pay. And then there you have a situation where you're doing something that you love doing, and you're making money for it. And that's how life should be.
Yeah.
So, it's just something that I think cannot be stressed enough.
That's it. I think a lot of people generally know that, but they sort of block it out, or they just put it to the side, put it on the back burner.
The day-to-day activities of life are so overwhelming
it's very easy to get wrapped up, and it's true. You mentioned before about friends passing away and that. I had a mate, pretty much one of my best mates. He died back in 2009.
Sorry to hear, man.
And same deal. I remember after he died, I was very much in the now moment. I'm a yes man. Yes, nothing. Everything else that is happening in life. You've got your scale of how you react to situations. And for some people, I lost my hairdryer. That's a 10. That's the worst thing in the world. I lost my my nail
trivial
polish
shit.
or just trivial shit. It doesn't matter, and it always takes.
My friend beat me in Call of Duty. Oh,
that's exactly right.
This sounds so freaking lame and pathetic, but one of the worst 10. I'd say this was on a scale of 12 moments I had over the last 3 years.
Yeah, go.
Let's say out there was not getting into X Factor like a few years back when I auditioned for the judges and 2 of them said no. I was like really down for a long time. The other time was when my friend, this is going to sound retarded, it's probably ridiculous, I can't believe I'm saying this. My friend, wait for it, you ready for it?
Go.
He destroyed me on Call of Duty. And the thing is, he hadn't even been playing it that long. And I spent ages practicing, right? Just so that I could kick his ass. It's the last time he beat me. And he kept on trashing me. And it was just the worst feeling ever. It was like I was doing everything I could to kick his ass. It's like it was holding me down physically.
It was bullying you.
No, it was like he
with
was
a video game.
No, I'm just trying to explain this metaphorically. But it's like I was on the ground. I was using all my freaking bacon buffed up might, right, to get out of this freaking hole. And he was just using a finger and keeping me down. And it was the most traumatizing. I remember going to bed. Like he stayed the night, right? Yeah. I wanted to get the freaking hell out, but at the time, just broken up with his his girlfriend at the time, right? And he wanted to hang out with me. I'm like, can't hang out with you anymore, man. You freaking kicked my ass. I'm a really bad loser. And remember, I wanted to sleep it off right. Just needed to get in my own headspace. Went into my room at the time. I was living in another house. I'm like, no, I'm going to bed, Chris. Oh, come on, let's play again. Come on, let's play again, Krishna. What, you don't want to lose again?
Yeah.
And I was there for even after I woke up in the morning. I still felt like shit, and I thought a long time about it, and I thought to myself, this is retarded. This is a computer game. This is the highlight of my of my reality at the moment. I'm getting pissed off over a computer game. I need to start doing shit with my life. I mean, at the time, look, I was engrossed in a whole bunch of stuff. I'm a very passionate person, and I'm constantly working on music, but it would just seem so retarded that I was overreacting to something like that. It was because I had such a ridiculous ego, which you've obviously noticed by now. And I could not get over the fact that someone that was so much... It wasn't so much the fact that he kicked my ass, right? It was the fact that... Yeah, it was the fact that he kicked my ass. What can I say? I just don't like losing. Yeah, I was trying to justify it, but when it came down to it, I think my ego was so big that I just did not like losing.
Yeah.
And I really had to analyze the situation. And it was so ridiculous because it was just a computer game.
Yep.
But it's just funny how we look at things like that. Well, I do anyway. And it's a big deal, but there are far greater things going on in the world. I mean, for crying out loud, recently we had the Philippines. They had like a massive, what was it, like a hurricane of some sort?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Thousands of people are dying. Now, their real traumas in life. Me losing a freaking computer game is
pretty
a zero.
insignificant, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's funny how we don't really put things into perspective. We're flooded with this media.
Everyone does. Everyone gets a check every now and again, and it usually comes in the form of a death or something of that nature. But I think it's important for people to check, as Ice Cube once said, to check themselves before they wreck themselves.
Damn straight, man. Damn straight. Yeah, always keep your ego in check. That's another one. I think I got that from I can't remember, some podcaster, but it really resonated with me because I mean, I think one of the biggest problems. I think you're in a different field than I am. Like I'm in a very narcissistic field. It's all about everybody look at me. I'm freaking great performer. That's what I do. I mean, at the end of the day, I love inspiring people. I'm speaking right from here right now. I think one of the greatest things you can do is influence people in a positive way, and music is a powerful platform to do that.
Absolutely.
But on the other side, I just kind of love getting on stage and people, oh, you're so cool, like this sexy dude with moves and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome performing to that kind of crowd, and it's like a massive ego boost. It's kind of like there is this void within you. You feel this need in order to prove yourself. I think this is something a lot of people have in their youth. I think in a realm where I find this particularly within the entertainment industry, whether it's acting or singing, something that you're doing is a lot more focused on helping people. It's not so much focused on yourself. And I'm not sure if you come across that. You don't have to keep your ego in check as much as someone that is in the industry of performing.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's true. No, absolutely. Everyone's guilty of it, no one's...
Yeah.
Everyone's guilty of it.
Absolutely. I mean, even Facebook. A friend of mine was just telling me the other day that, you have a look at the way status updates work, and you're basically saying, hey, everyone, look how amazing I am. This is what I got up to.
That's
hey,
exactly
like
what
this.
it is.
It's just another way to get that reinforcement, because you feel, I think all of us feel this... I'm not sure if insecurity is the right word, but we feel this need to be acknowledged.
It is a need, absolutely. This is something I was thinking about actually this morning. Okay. Now that you mention it, is that's probably the downfall. The same for me, and I know with most people in the world, Facebook can become an addiction, sort of thing.
Absolutely.
So I had a whole month of it. The other month, September, I had off Facebook. I was like, barring it, and it was awesome. Come October, I was like, oh well, I've had a month off it. Back on, here we go. And you get to those points when you put something up, and then you get really excited. It's someone stroking your ego every time someone comments or likes something. Like, oh, that's awesome! Yeah,
it's a currency, just like money. Likes has become the currency. I've heard this guy Redban. He's this guy off the Joe Rogan Experience podcast.
Yep.
He has this theory that in the future, likes is going to be a currency, and rather than trading with money, people are going to be trading in likes. Because you think about it, it is an energetic representation of the same thing money is. It's basically energy. I mean, we're obviously we've all agreed to put a certain level of emphasis on money, on the dollar, and we've done the same thing with likes. We basically said that one like represents how cool you are, and if you have 10,000 likes, you are fucking cool.
You're
you know what I mean?
Boss, yeah.
And I think we all buy into that need to get lots of likes. Every time I put a status update, I'm like, oh, this is such a cool, profound thing. People are gonna like this. Then I get 2 likes. Like, what the fuck? What you don't even appreciate me. And it does kind of feed into that need we have to be acknowledged. And
Absolutely.
I think, like from a higher-minded attitude, this is kind of in line with the whole Buddhist way of thinking. You kind of want to rid yourself from that. I think as the Buddha said, man, I'm so profound and deep. I'm about to drop some knowledge in Buddha over here. But the whole idea behind, I think Buddhism, at least one of the tenets is detachment. You know what I mean? Like the whole idea that basically desire is what leads to suffering. There's this whole long philosophical rant by Buddha about it, about how essentially wanting something, even wanting to be freed of desire, is a desire itself. And it's kind of like a mind frack, you know what I'm saying? So I guess you have to reach what they call the middle path. I mean, there are two extremes. One extreme is to go all out, and the other extreme is to try it all. And they're both not the right approach. And the whole idea, at least one of the things I got from reading many books on Buddhism, because I'm so well versed in Buddhistic. I read some little article one time on Buddhism. I don't know what about that.
Now you're just expanding on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm speaking about him. I'm speaking as if I'm some authority on it.
It was a 300 word article.
Yeah, but look, apparently one of the approaches in Buddhism is to follow the middle path. That's one of the main ideas. And rather than finding too much extremes in any endeavor, what I'm trying to say is, rather than going on either one side or the other of these extremes, either too much or too little, you basically want to take the middle path. And it's tricky, man, especially for someone that's as passionate as I am. You know, I'm all about taking things to the extreme, and a lot of my friends are as well. I mean, what's your attitude towards life? Do you kind of try to... You seem like a very calm, balanced person. I mean, you're all calm and zen over here, and I'm like talking at 100 miles an hour, all crazy, you know? What's your general attitude?
I'm just absorbing. I'm a sponge, man.
You're a sponge.
I actually... have you ever done the Myers-Briggs test?
It sounds like something I've come across.
Test. So basically what it does
is it the 4 quadrants?
The what?
Yeah, it's...
Oh, no, that's the
brain dominance.
That's the DC... what is that one? CDDS or something?
I'm thinking something brain dominance test. It starts with H, but it's basically got 4 quadrants. It's got 4 colors, and like one relates to the left brain, the other side relates to the right brain. Kind of talks about your personality stuff. But yours is something different.
Yeah, the Myers-Briggs basically, it's like 4 things. So everyone's got a bit of each attribute in them.
Yes.
So it'll go, extroverted or introverted. Which one are you more like? And it'll give you the list. It'll say, okay, do you react like this in situations? Do you react like this? Da, da, da. So you go, okay, sweet, I'm extroverted. Then you go through, what is it? Intuitive or sensing, I believe. So it's okay, am I intuitive or am I a sensor?
Yeah.
And you go through, are you a thinker or a feeler?
Yeah.
Are you a perceiver or a judger? Or a judge? And basically from there you get your sequence of letters. So say if you're an extroverted, intuitive, thinking perceiver, you'd be an ENTP. And then from there you've got...
NTP, that sounds pretty deep, bro.
ENTP, yeah.
NTP.
Then you've got your personality portrait.
All right.
And man, you should do it.
How to do it?
The Myers-Briggs test, man, it's amazing. They've been around for ages, but they're so ridiculously spot on.
Okay.
And you're saying over here, you're very passionate, you get very fast.
Yeah.
That are like, yeah, I do too. Yeah. But also...
You seem a lot more centered. You seem more like Elliot House, very grounded, earthy. I'm more like up here and freaking girly, man. Like, oh my god, bro, this is freaking amazing. Oh my god. Oh, your pistol's so big. It's like how I met you at the Bacon Fest. It was like, I was jumping all over you. I was so glad you didn't freak out, because I've done that to swolled up guys. Can I
tell you a little story about that experience?
Yeah, sure.
I honestly thought, so this is everyone, whoever's listening.
Right.
Obviously, we mentioned earlier, I met
Bill
Krishul,
Mr.
Krishul himself.
Referring to me as Mr. Krishul, I like that.
At the
Makes me all important.
At the Melbourne Vegan Festival, and he approached me. He basically jumped on my back. Yeah. He pretty much wanted me to piggyback him.
I was so charismatic and so sexy. It was like,
came up and was like, "Bro, can I touch you? You look solid." And I was like, no one comes up to somebody and just blatantly gives them a compliment that's going to boost their ego that much on first impression.
That's what Christian's all about.
And I'm like, this dude's trying to sell me something. I thought he was a salesman.
Man, I'm just selling love, yo.
And I was It took me even for like the first 5 minutes of chatting to him. I was like, "Where's the catch?" I was waiting for but wait, there's more. It didn't come though, so it was really it's quite.
I'm glad
it's
you
flattering
call that.
to meet someone with that sort of attitude. Hey,
Oh, look, my general attitude in life is, first of all, to come on strong. I don't buy into this whole kind of... I feel as if... Okay, I'm going to be really deep and profound over here. Everyone is putting on this facade. The ancient Japanese, you see, I'm very deep and very learned.
Here we go.
They have this idea about how we have three faces. And there's a face that we show to our family, there's a face we show to our friends, a face that we show to ourselves. At the end of the day, we all have different masks, and we're not really allowing people to see our real selves, because we're worried that they may think that we're gay. Obviously, a lot of people thought I was gay if I came onto them like that, or they don't want to come across as, particularly with girls. I must admit I'm somewhat shielded, because I look. It's not so much rejection. I just want to make people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I feel as if there are all these layers of hidden us's, if that's that makes sense.
it's like an onion.
Absolutely, they were hiding. And my whole attitude is I want to be as freaking like out there, open, and as real as I can, as in line with my authentic self. So whenever I meet someone, you know, like I know a lot of guys are like, "Hey, how you doing?" They handshake. I don't do any of that shit, man. I tell you, I mean, granted, I'm deceptive as shit. I'm not gonna be mean. Now, if I think you're a dick, I won't. I don't. If you don't have anything nice to say,
you won't go out of your way.
Yeah, I won't say it. That's my attitude. But ultimately, I will be as soulful. And basically, all I mean by that is capable of expressing profound emotions when I meet someone. And I try to be as real, because I find when someone opens up, to me, I'm more inclined to want to open up to them. Like, you ever been in a conversation with someone, and or a girl or something like that, and you don't want to speak about your insecurities, but then they speak about their insecurities. They're like, I'm really kind of nervous about, like, I just got this message from Tinder, this awesome app I've been using lately, and this girl was like, I'm really nervous about meeting you. I'm like, oh, that's freaking cool. Like, most people would be like, yeah, you know, we'll catch up, it's cool. And they'll like be arrogant. But when someone opens up to you like that, and you feel inclined to open up as well, and I'm like, whoa, that girl, you want to open up as well. And so my whole attitude is to get past all that bullshit. You go on dates with girls, and you're like, you want to be all swollen. I mean, not swole. I mean, obviously I'm swole, so I don't have to be swole. But you want to put on this facade of like how cool you are, and be like, I usually put on this kind of like African American attitude, like, girl, you're looking fine. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, girl. I'm from the States, I'm good friends with Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the music industry,
shit.
And you kind of feel inclined to put on this fake version of yourself. But if you can just get past all that stuff and be vulnerable and be confident, and it takes a level of confidence to be vulnerable, to be so in line with who you are that you just don't care.
Absolutely.
And I don't always do that,
Yep.
Particularly when I'm in corporate environments, because I got to consider whether or not I'm going to make people feel weird. But that's my general attitude, and I'm flattered the fact that you thought I was selling you something, because I know a lot of people have this idea that there's an ulterior motive, but bruh, that's not what Chris Yule is about, yo. And yes, I can speak about myself in the third person, because that's what Chris Yule is, yo.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head, sort of in the middle of that spiel.
Yeah, you gotta cut me off, man. I just continue rolling. It's all about you, and I've already taken up like 80% of the conversation.
So good, bro.
What's your attitude? Do you? I mean, when you first met Hannah, tell us about Hannah? By the way, is Haydn's girlfriend. She's a stunning, beautiful soul, and I only use that word whenever I meet someone and they really have like a really gentle, sweet nature about them. She's a nutritionist, and which is a perfect match, because you're the personal trainer. She's a nutritionist, so she keeps you
makes sense.
in check with your health and all that kind of stuff. It's a perfect match, bro.
Yeah.
What was it like when you met her?
Oh, it was love at first sight.
Yeah.
I met her. I was actually working in the snow at that time, and
Okay.
she'd, I was there on my own, and she'd rocked up on her own from Byron Bay, and it just sort of went,
Were you shy? Were you kind of like, were you?
No, not at all. Well, when she first met me, because I'm pretty extroverted at times.
Okay.
And I think I was wearing like a Wookiee beanie of some description, and I was like, "Hey, whoa, what you doing? You look really cool. You're moving into the snow with us."
She said that to you?
No, I said that to her.
Respect,
She
bro.
she was the reserved one, actually.
Okay.
And I was like, "Yo, what's up?" Anyway, and then the rest is history.
That's cool.
Because
you're very approachable. I mean, that's the cool. There's some people. I mean, I consider myself to be like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, I'm freaking retarded most of the time. But I feel like I feel everything. And like, I know that sounds. I don't mean that to be arrogant. I just feel though like I can feel how people feel around me. I can tell if someone's pissed off with me on an intuitive level. I don't necessarily logically understand it, but it's kind of like I have just Jedi senses and that kind of shit. So because of that, I feel as if I can come across strong to certain people, or kind of like back off. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I'll do that and people like weirded out. But because of that, and you struck me as the kind of person. You strike me as the kind of person. Just having, I think, within the first few seconds of speaking to you, you seem like the kind of person that like would not have an issue with a freak like myself. You know what I mean? Which is awesome, man. I love people that don't have issues with freaks like me, man.
No, you're far from a freak, man.
Well, thanks, Rob. But you're obviously very approachable. So someone like Hannah, I'm sure, had absolutely no problem talking to you.
That's it, man. Honestly, you like I said before, you were hitting it on the head about the vulnerability thing. I got some good advice from a pretty wise dude I know who's also heaps into philosophy and whatnot.
Okay.
And he's also a massive fan of Steve Jobs. And
wise man, Steve Jobs.
Yeah, and in one of Steve Jobs's college speeches, he says at the end of one of his speeches, "Stay humble, stay foolish," and his whole thing is about dropping your ego and leaving yourself vulnerable, and letting people. That's the thing. If you are willing to give yourself a little bit, and put a little bit on the table and say, okay, look, here's where I'm coming from, da 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 da.
Yeah.
People are willing to go, oh, okay, well, I'll drop the facade a little bit and we'll go with this. Let's dance.
Absolutely.
And then from there, that's how you sort of bond a little bit, and next thing you know, sparks are flying. You're in the garage doing karate.
Absolutely, because people connect with that stuff. They see that people. I wanted to say something and I hesitated because it was a little kind of arrogant, but like, what was something to the effect of like awesomeness respects awesomeness, or some quote along those lines, like But basically, what I wanted to say without sounding so arrogant is you basically notice when someone is being real, and when someone is expressing themselves like that, they drop off their guards. You connect with that. It's something that really connects to your heartstrings. I love using that line. It sounds so hippie, but I'm going to use it anyway. And it makes you want, once again, to connect with them, because it's something that's real. You know what I mean? But sometimes when you see the whole facade kind of thing, it's like when you can tell when someone's not, when someone smiles and they're not really smiling. It's like, hello. You kind of.
That was a really good joke.
Yeah. But people obviously identify with when you're being real, and I think that's a beautiful thing. But you touched on something I kind of wanted to touch on.
Yes, go on.
The whole humility thing. I think humility is awesome, but I actually don't have a problem with arrogant people as well. Like, I actually love being around people that talk about how great they are, as long as they're not bringing you down. Yeah. And for instance, I love being around people. Some of my best friends are people that they'll walk into a room and they're like, man, it's so freaking good knowing that I'm the hottest person in this room. And I'm like.
And they're for real when they say that.
And it's freaking cool, because they're not saying it, they're like, oh, you're hot too. It's like, they'll say that. They're not saying it with the purpose of trying to make people feel bad. It's just, they've have a high opinion. True, they have a high opinion. But I think there's expressive arrogance and there's impressive arrogance. It's the kind of arrogance where you're trying to make people think that you're awesome, you know what I mean? And then there's a kind of arrogance where you're just expressing your joy. Like, for instance, if I just won some competition, I do this a lot. I'm like, bro, it's so freaking amazing, man. Bro, you should see my performance was so awesome. Like, all the girls were all over me. And a lot of people see that as arrogant, but basically you're just so happy that you're brimming with...
you kind of just want to share it, hey?
Absolutely, but it's very different to someone that wants to either bring you down or talk about how good they are so that they will look awesome in your eyes. I just think there's a different kind, and I kind of bring this up because I was on Facebook just a while ago, and one of the posts that was prevalent just a few days ago throughout Facebook was Kanye West's arrogance. Was that a real thing? It was,
because I think
was it fake?
I
cross-referenced.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was real, because he's a dick.
But
he's a dick. He's a straight up dick. He's like a big porn star. Yeah,
true. But look, here's the thing, and look, obviously, douchey, stupid thing, totally non-PC, alright? Especially after the death of the great Nelson Mandela. Really, you're going to stand here and say that you're going to achieve a lot more than this guy? I mean, But here's the thing, every time I check myself getting annoyed when someone has said something like that, I think to myself, why am I so pissed off? Just let him have it. I mean, is it somehow... I think it's an ego thing. When people get pissed off at the fact that someone is talking about how awesome they are, even if it's like impressive arrogance, the kind of arrogance where they're bringing you down. Like, they've just said, man, I'm going to kick everyone's ass, that kind of stuff. It's like, that's just what they think. Why should I be affected by that? It's not like he's saying that he's going to go out and kill people.
Yeah.
Therefore, my whole attitude is just let him have it. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a reflection of my ego. If I'm getting pissed off, this is kind of how I look at it. I could be wrong. If I'm getting pissed off, the fact that him stating something that he's going to achieve is making me feel insecure about where I'm at, then that's kind of a reflection of my own ego.
Yeah.
And yes, it's arrogant what he's doing, but let him have it. It just shows it's a reflection of where he's at on a conscious level.
That's it.
But I know a lot of girls are really pissed off about that statement. A lot of guys and girls.
Yeah.
And Nelson Mandela, obviously a great man.
You can see why, man. It's just the timing. Yeah. He just does things at the worst times.
Absolutely. But just to give people context, Kanye West was apparently on air, was saying that, look, Nelson, I'm paraphrasing massively over here, basically acknowledged the achievements of Nelson Mandela, basically said that, look, he's achieved a lot more or he's going to achieve a lot more. Basically, he's only something like 35, 36 years old, and he's achieved so much. He's inspired so many people. By the time he's the age of Nelson Mandela, he's going to do a lot more, that kind of stuff, which is a pretty douchey thing to say after some person has died. You want to acknowledge all the great accomplishments they've had when they just passed away. You don't want to be bragging about how you just kicked their ass in Call of Duty.
Stealing his thunder, man. That's what he was doing. He's
Absolutely.
Stealing Nelson Mandela's thunder.
He's stealing his thunder. But you know what? I thought to myself, Nelson Mandela, the great person that he is, the higher-minded attitude that he would have had if he was looking down at Kanye West's little shitting on him, scenario, would have probably said something in effect, you know what? Let the man have it. He is a good man. He is not doing anything wrong. This is my bad.
It was like Jamaican or something, bro.
I was trying to sound South African. Whenever I do African, I can do sound like this.
That's better.
Yeah,
it's the bass.
Yeah, but look, at the end of the day, I kind of thought about this quote. It's accredited to Nelson Mandela.
Yep.
But it's not really his quote. Apparently, it's from Marianne Williamson, and it's something to the effect that there's nothing enlightened about shrinking so people don't feel insecure around you. It's I paraphrase, but your God-given right to manifest the glory of God. And at the end of the day, when people are talking about their achievements and things like that, it's basically acknowledging and rejoicing the greatness that is within all of us, and that should act as a light that you take on. I'm trying to sound profound, obviously, and failing miserably, but I think people act as a light when they shine their greatness like that, and you take that light in yourself, and you can use that same light to basically shine a way for other people. That was kind of profound, wasn't it? Influence other people.
Yeah. I see what you're getting at there. I see the underlying message there.
Absolutely. So look, obviously Kanye was taking it a step further, obviously shitting on Nelson Mandela, but I honestly do not have a problem about people talking about their achievements, what they're going to achieve. I think sometimes it's a way of psychologically putting yourself in this mindset to achieve great things. Like Muhammad Ali is constantly quoted as saying all this stuff about how I'm the greatest, I'm going to kick this person's ass. But apparently during some interview, he said that every time he stepped in that ring, he was scared as hell. And he was saying that stuff to himself.
Yeah.
He was trying to get himself in that mindset.
That's exactly right. Well, it's manifestation, and you can bring this back to lifting, right? For example, if you're trying to set a PB, a personal best, with a lift, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just, maybe you can. You can't just go out there and lift, something ridiculously heavy that you've never lifted before without popping some, so it's snapping your shit up, as the Hodge twins would say.
As the who would say?
The Hodge twins. They're another fitness YouTube channel.
Okay, let's check that out.
Two funny dudes. They're no Elliot Hulse, but they're funny.
All right. Another YouTube channel you gotta check out. Sorry to digress. Raw Bros. They're freaking insane. Oh, you heard of them?
Yeah, they're very fit dudes.
They're very fit.
All calisthenic bodyweight type
Absolutely.
things.
I recently started training to do, those jumps that they do. Sorry to cut you off over there. I just had to mention this because they're freaking insane. And I saw their video of them jumping up from a push-up position, right, all up in the air like that. And they were showing how they train to do that. And they do these things where they use these rollers, right?
Yeah.
It is the most difficult ab workout I've done, right? I tried doing one like maybe 3 months ago, and I killed myself. I could not walk for ages. Right, I've been doing it for the last 3 months. I can now do 15, of them, man. Like
Awesome.
it's freaking. My abs are like. I wish you could all see my. I
Like
might
a
show you.
washboard.
So,
I can see them through your shirt,
Yeah,
bro.
they're freaking huge, aren't they?
Jesus.
Yeah, freaking, exactly, bro.
Insane.
But those guys are insane.
Yeah.
But sorry to cut you off there. You were talking about
That was about manifestation.
manifestation.
Yeah, so visualization more so. Visualization turning into manifestation.
Absolutely.
And I don't know where did that stem from? There was something.
We're talking about the Hodge twins or something like that. We're talking about lifting, passing, going beyond your plateaus.
Even before that, before we get to the sea, this is like
My mind is like this crazy little weaving.
you shot off.
Yeah.
It fucked me up, and now I'm
I
just
do that.
sitting here
do
going,
that.
"What was I talking about?" But yeah, when you accomplish anything or something, it does help.
You
Oh,
can
telling
visualize.
yourself. It was Muhammad Ali telling himself that he was
Telling
great
yourself.
to prepare himself for a fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. If you tell yourself, you're like, okay, I am going to get a 200 kilo deadlift or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get a 200 kilo deadlift. I'm going to get it. And you mean it. You say it. You just live it every day. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about it. You visualize what the powerlifters do this, man. Like this is
Yeah.
a proper Olympic lifters do it. It's the same sort of thing. You just visualize. You're telling yourself. You plan every detail. Okay, I'm going to be wearing this shirt on the day. And I'm going to walk up to the bar this way. This is the hand I'm going to grab it with. This is exactly how it's going to go. This is what the weights look like on the end of the bar. If you visualize it enough and you believe in it enough, you can manifest it to become reality.
Bruh, preach. I'm feeling it, man. I'm actually going through it in my mind. I have these goals that I want to achieve next year, and it is so true, the visualization thing, bro. And it is so cool when I'm very passionate about my music. I don't talk about it too much because I try to make these podcasts educational. I'm always trying to drop my profound knowledge and whatnot, and I figured there isn't too much knowledge I can drop about music besides just singing to you and pressing all the senoritas with my sexy voice. But anyway, I digress. But I'm always trying to figure out what I can do to realize my dreams, and there is nothing or achieve like a great performance or something like that. And I do it a lot. There are times when you see yourself gliding on the dance floor and busting out those vocals, and when it finally comes into fruition and you do that, it is such a rewarding feeling. It really shows how by visualizing that, by going over it over and over again,
Yeah.
it comes into fruition. And bro, I can't talk up enough what you just said there.
Yeah.
I think all of it, success is basically formed in your mind. It's basically done. It's done before it's manifested in this physical Euclidean meat space. It starts in the mind. You see it, you visualize it, and then you extrude that reality from your imagination, from the recesses of your unconscious mind, or this infinite unifying field of energy, and you bring that into the reality, and it becomes a reality. And it all starts in here through that visualization exercise. And yeah, I really felt what you were saying, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Paisan, tell us more about your personal training. I mean,
Yes.
you've been doing that you're a legit personal trainer. You've been doing that for how long now?
Oh, not long, man. Like a year. But it's like I said, it was a career change. I was
Okay.
I was floating. I was a turd in a bowl before that.
Okay. I really wanted to get into the crux of diet, and because,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're a personal trainer.
Shoot, man,
Profound,
you got questions,
fantastic.
I got your answers.
There are not many personal trainers, though, that are, I would imagine, that are vegan personal trainers, and I'm guessing at least some of your clients must be on that kind of diet. And what kind of advice do you give them, if you give them any, as far as developing themselves with a plant-based diet?
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
are there any tips? I asked you some time ago, and you mentioned a few things, but I just
Yeah,
wanted to get this out of you
absolutely.
for the audience.
Well, the main thing I'd say, so to clear it up, basically out of all my clients, I've probably got about 3 who are vegetarians. I don't have any vegans,
Okay,
but
being a vegan's a big deal, isn't it? it's a big step
a lot
up.
of,
Yeah.
a lot of people aren't quite ready to commit to it.
Yeah.
But the main thing is just becoming informed. So doing the research, basically just learning as much as you can a bit, because there are people out there doing it. This is the thing. It's not like it's a new thing. It's being done. I went on Sunday. I was with Billy Simmons doing a.
You were with the Billy Simmons.
Yeah, I was doing a workshop.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those that are not aware, Billy Simmons is one hell of a... I meet so many girls, particularly at that vegan festival, that, oh my god, have you seen him? He's so freaking hunky. But he seriously is swole like you have no idea.
Yeah,
the guy's the 2009
Mr. Universe.
Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
And the guy's on an all vegan diet. And you would be like, what the frack? Do you eat a horse or something? But no, complete legit.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
You know him pretty well.
No, well, I met him at the
Oh, you met him?
festival, and the same deal. Got in contact with him.
Okay.
And yeah, sort of been messaging him back and forth.
Oh, you got his number, man. I'm jealous. Like, if you had picked up Angelina Jolie, I would not be much more impressed, man. Like, that's legit. You.
It is legit.
All right.
Yeah,
You went up from me, man. Like, I picked you up on the Vegan, festival day. You picked up Billy Simmons, bro. I think seems like you outdid me a little, just a little.
But yeah, that's it. You got to look to the people. So obviously in the Australian scene, you got like Joel Kirklis,
Okay.
Billy Simmons, Noah Hannibal, who's a powerlifter, who is also he's one of the spearheads of animal liberation.
Yeah, I think I would have met him.
Yeah, well, he was at the animal liberation store
Respect.
on that day.
Yeah.
I also got in contact with him. I was powerlifting with him the other day
Yeah.
too. So he's a mad dog. He's a strong cat.
That's awesome.
But what I was getting at is there are these people who are already doing it. So all you have to do is look it up, talk to them, find out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
From like if you want actual numbers or food to eat right now, it's very hard to convey everything that you need to do. But it's just becoming knowledgeable about exactly how your body processes proteins, etc.
Yeah. Well, obviously everyone's different, but what are the basic tips that you would give to someone if they were wanting to get all the nutrients necessary so they can become swole and they can avoid all that, all the deficiencies that I know B12 is like a big one. A lot of people have the idea, man, you can't get B12 if you're a vegan. That's bullshit. That's a lot of people don't understand. I feel like I have to explain this to people that B12 is actually, look, you get BT, it's a bacteria, right? That's it's found within the earth. It's also found within feces. The bottom line is you actually find this in a lot of organic foods. The problem is that the way that our vegetables are processed when they end up in the supermarket, you tend to strip away a lot of the bacteria. I had a microbiologist explain this to me, like the B12 within these things. That's why a lot of vegetables seem to be lacking in B12. But make no mistake about it, B12 is actually found within the earth. And the only reason that obviously animals have a high level of B12 within them, but the only reason that they have B12 is that they ate plant matter. You can make the argument that essentially all nutrients are derived by virtue of the sun through photosynthesis, green plants and all that kind of stuff. And the sheer fact that those, without a doubt, there tends to be high levels of protein, certain nutrients and all that kind of stuff within animals, but the sheer fact that they ate plants in order to assimilate those nutrients means that they're getting that from another source. And make no mistake about it, you can derive, you can quote me on this, and I hope people challenge me on this because I'm confident enough to actually say this on the air, but there are different kinds. A lot of people make the argument that it's not a full protein if you get this from a vegetable. It's different to the protein that you get from eggs or an animal. But there is no nutrient known to mankind that cannot be derived from animal products. Yes, generally you find higher levels within plant matter, and they're different. For instance, you'll say you can't get protein from vegetables. Well, actually, kale, I think it's called tempeh. An ounce of tempeh has as much protein as an ounce of steak.
So tempeh is just soy.
So
you got tofu, which is soy, but tempeh is fermented soy.
Okay. Well, I don't know if this is true. This is what I've read. And feel free to
No, it is high
correct me.
protein.
Yeah.
Same as chickpeas, man.
Yeah.
Quinoa is another good protein.
Absolutely. But I just had to once again rant on about that. I just get fired up because I keep thinking people listening to this are going, that's complete bullshit, man. You need to eat meat. But bro, you explaining I asked you a question. Obviously, I tried answering myself because of the kind of person I am. But just the nutrients that you need if you're gonna make sure that you're getting everything you need on a vegan diet.
Just eating a varied diet, making sure you get enough of everything. Okay. So when I say that, so basically, what are the things that are lacking in a vegan diet? You'd say obviously the B12. Okay. Some people would say iron. Now iron's only lacking if you're not eating enough, right? Eat your greens, eat things like your spinaches and your kales, your dark leafies and all that, right? But it gets a bit technical because you got iron and calcium. Okay. And one cancels out the other when you eat them together, okay? So it gets a little bit technical. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll have like an iron tablet or something on its own, at night or something, just to as a precautionary measure.
Okay. So you're a big man when it comes to supplements?
Not overly. Basically all I have, so I'd wake up in the morning, I have a multi.
Okay.
I have a B complex, you don't even need it. It's in the multi, but I just have it.
Yeah.
It's just the way I've rolled for the last couple of years, sort of my style.
Okay.
And apart from that's pretty much it, to be honest.
Multivitamin and B12 thing.
Yeah, that's basically it. And as far as say post-workout shakes and all that, so you'd have a combination of a rice and a pea protein, right?
What's a pea protein?
So pea protein is derived from chickpeas.
Okay.
And basically, so I don't know what your knowledge is on like essential amino acids.
Not much. I just think good food, bad food. That's about it.
Okay. So there. Quick rundown. This is how it works, all right? You've got a bunch of essential amino acids which you need to get from food that you eat, all right?
Okay.
You have a bunch of amino acids that your body naturally produces. Now, they all have funny names like valine, leucine, lysine, isoleucine, histidine, tryptophan, da-da-da-da-da. Okay? That's not the important part. But what you need to know is that everything that you eat has different levels. So you might have a steak, right, which might be high in...
I'm a vegetarian. Why would I have steak?
That's right, you wouldn't have it. But
I wouldn't have steak.
I'm just
I would
talking
have
about...
some tofu, yo. Oh, wait a second. Apparently soy's not good for you. I'd have a whole bunch of things I could have. I'd have some lentils or some kale. Shit, man.
Yeah. Well, let's go down the
Okay.
the veggie route then.
All right.
So say like lentils, they might be pretty high in all of them bar say like the leucine or the lysine. Right?
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure which one it is for lentils, but but the whole thing is that basically you can only get as much protein as the lowest amino acid in that food.
Okay.
So this is where the whole combining foods comes in. So if you eat something that's it might be lacking in one essential amino acid, and you eat something else that complements that's high in that essential amino acid, all of a sudden you've got a complete protein.
Fantastic.
You've just
So essentially, all you're trying to do is get a wide spectrum of nutrients. Eat lots of different
Yeah,
foods,
absolutely.
and chances are you're going to more than compensate for anything that you're lacking.
make protein the focus of every
Absolutely.
meal, and the carbs and the fats will just come with it.
That's why I do my kale shake every morning, man. Do you do a shake?
I do shakes, yeah.
Shake, yeah, they're
absolutely.
the way to go. Every morning, I got this from the Joe Rogan Experience, but basically get kale, get a pear, get some carrots, and then some beetroot, some garlic. Actually, I don't use the garlic because that just makes things taste like shit. But I do take garlic supplements.
Yeah.
And I add garlic in my cooking. I just don't have it in my kale shakes.
Yeah.
Some ginger, but basically a whole bunch of vegetables. Throw in one fruit there. You don't want to have too many sugary stuff. And voila, massive dose of phytonutrients, keeps me going. I know that I'm doing what I need to get a full spectrum of these nutrients in the morning, so I can enjoy the rest of my day. I generally have nuts.
A bit of energy.
Yeah, nuts during the day, and during the evening, that's when I have like my big meal, like some rice and stew, and I'm a big fan of veggie sausages and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What's your perspective towards that? Are you a sanitarian boy? You like your
I have it occasionally. I don't go too hard on the mock meats and all that.
reason being?
I just like to keep things a little more natural, really.
That's the
You know,
way.
try and avoid processed foods where you can. But obviously, you want to treat yourself sometimes, and they're pretty delicious. So
They are.
Sanitarian make those. They make roasts, like vegan roasts, which are pretty sweet. Obviously, the snags aren't too bad.
Yeah.
Fries. Are you into fries?
Fries.
There's
as
a
in
company
chips.
called Fries. No.
No.
it's
Oh,
like-
fries. Wait, like Lord Fries?
No.
All right.
Go to Coles, man. There's green boxes. So you can't miss them. Fries is the company, all vegan stuff. They
Okay.
make like schnitties and just
Yeah.
real. It's delicious.
People don't realize, and maybe it's just because I have warped taste because I'm vegan, I don't know, but there is so much good food out there. There's this restaurant I go to in Box Hill. It is called the Veggie Hut.
Yeah, you're saying that.
Yes,
that's right.
and bro, we gotta do lunch, man. We
We
gotta have a
do.
mandate, man. You're a freaking legend. I want to hang out with you, bro.
We're
Yeah?
going to the Veggie
Okay,
Hut.
we're going to the Veggie Hut, and the food there. A lot of people don't like veggie food. They get annoyed because it's called vegetarian meat and it tastes nothing like it. They say this shouldn't be called veggie sausage. It tastes like shit. But the food there, and look, I was not always a vegetarian. Up till about 7 or 8, I ate meat. It's a big part of the Ghanaian, I come from Ghana, West Africa diet. And look, I was a big fan of it. I love the smell of chicken. I still do. Never really liked the smell of pork, and never really was into fish either.
Yeah.
But look, bottom line is I do have an appreciation of what this stuff tastes like. Telling you the stuff at Veggie Hut, it tastes just as good. Maybe
Yeah.
my memory's been distorted because it's been so long, but either way, it's freaking redonkulous. And they have mock duck, they got mock pork, mock fish, everything there.
Yeah.
And it's so high quality. And I don't know, I presume it's good for you. feels good for, well, it tastes good, that's for sure. But that's not very good logic, is it? Something tastes good, so it must be good. But it seems pretty wholesome. It's not genetically engineered or anything like that. That much I know. And I remember asking him a while ago how they make these things. Don't ask me to repeat it. It sounded like very simple though. So
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. They're not. You can have them just everything in moderation. You know.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't I think if even being a vegan, you could probably get a bit fat if you were eating that sort of stuff all the time.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's veganism. I'm not actually a vegan. Like, to actually define veganism, because a lot of people think, oh, bro, I got to show you this video. This is. Have you seen Scott Pilgrim Must Die? Or I think it's called something like that.
No, never
There is
seen
this.
it.
Oh, bro, there is this classic scene. It is pop culture history. I actually put it on this thing because I wanted to show everyone. I wanted to show particularly you. It basically talks about what a vegan is. It's a comical representation of it, but it is worth it. I know you're short of time, but bro, this will only take a couple of minutes, and this will give you the corny representation of what a vegan is, and then I'll eloquently explain to you what the real definition of it is, because it has become a bit of a religion over the last while. It's not just about what you eat; it's about the values that you hold as well. And either way, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, check out this. This is freaking brilliant. I think it's this one over here. Is this the one? No.
Being vegan just makes you better than most people.
Let me start this again.
Hey,
Bring this
question?
over here.
I always wondered, how does not eating dairy products give you psychic powers?
Okay. You know how you only use 10% of your brain? That's because the other 90% is filled with courage in the way.
Did you learn that at Vegan Academy?
Go ahead and get snippy, baby. If you knew the science, maybe I'd listen to what you're saying.
If I peed my pants, would you pretend I just got wet from the rain?
It's not raining.
Oh. Then why don't you give me the cliff notes on
It's
how
a classic
and why you
move like
ended up
a
dating
few
this
years back.
a-hole?
It's really important right now.
It's one of the
If there's a
things.
key element in his backstory that's going to help me out in a critical moment of not dying, yes.
I was only dating Lucas until the minute Todd walked by. Guess that's not very nice, but I used to be kind of like that. We hated everyone. We wrecked stuff, nobody cared.
Anyway.
He punched a hole in the
Was
moon.
that the end of it? Was it?
I think I may have had the end of it. I'm not
A
sure.
week and a half later, he told me his dad was sending him to Vegan Academy, so
Oh, this is so
I
relevant.
dumped him.
Have you dumped everyone you've ever been with? You've never been the dumpy?
Look, I've dabbled in being a bitch. It's part of the reason I moved here. I was really hoping to just leave it all behind me.
Hey, lovebirds. We have unfinished business, I and he.
He and me.
Don't you talk to me about grammar.
I just like you, capiche?
Tell it to the cleaning lady on Monday.
What?
Because you'll be dust by Monday.
Um,
Because you'll be pulverized.
I love this because this guy's supposed to have superpowers because he's become a vegan.
Dust. She dusts.
So what's on Monday?
Because it's Friday now. It's just the weekend's off, so Monday, right?
Basically, you can't win this fight, so you're gonna have to give up on this girl because Todd's gonna kill you.
Well, anyway. I think I missed some of the
It was an anticlimax.
yeah. It was just pretty cool because it became pop culture history, that movie, and I just love the fact that it had this whole vegan scene, and the guy makes this cool line about how at the end of it, I think, you're still vegan if you eat chicken, right? And I just thought it was ridiculous because people have this very muddied perception of what a vegan is, but apparently it's not just obviously abstaining from dairy products or animal products. Apparently it's also not using using products that have been tested on. Let me just get our lovely faces back in here. Using products that have been tested on animals, wearing leather and all that kind of stuff. It's become a bit of a religion, a philosophy as well. They're activists. I mean, they're all about trying to minimize the harm and all that kind of stuff. But it's more than just abstaining from what you eat. It's also about what you wear. And because of that, I feel as if it's more than just a diet kind of thing. It's become a bit of religion, and I don't feel completely comfortable calling myself a vegan. Yes, I abstain from meat. I mean, that's the main thing, and I'm trying to minimize any kind of harm I do. But I mean, look, I take honey. I freaking love honey. It's freaking awesome. I don't really care about bees, even though they're responsible for pollinating so many of the foods that we eat and all that kind of stuff. But Are you vegan, like full vegan? How?
Yeah.
Oh, you take it extreme. That's awesome, man. Can I touch you? You have like. I'll just.
Let's do the ET.
Shh. That's freaking insane, bro.
That just happened.
But seriously, kudos. I think it's fantastic that people are becoming really conscious of not just their diet, but basically their world. I mean, one of the things that really got me a while back was the documentary called Earthlings, and how prevalent it's become. It's almost become pop culture now. How many people have seen that? Because here's the thing. Look, you can disregard everything that we've said. It may be complete. I don't think it is. Maybe complete nonsense as to the benefits of veganism. It's certainly helped me in many ways. I can't list all the amazing health benefits I've received from having a vegan or vegetarian diet, but the emotional argument is the biggest one to me. If you actually watch that documentary Earthlings and you see the kind of trauma, the kind of suffering that these animals go through, it's kind of hard to make the argument, when I personally believe that it's so unnecessary to continue these ridiculous forms of what word can you use for it? Basically murder. Like it's mass genocide, if that's, or animalicide.
everyone should watch Earthlings, to be honest, because it's not only just specifically about animals being killed for food, but it goes into things like puppy factories, which a lot of people
absolutely
it's becoming more well known now, but that's been sort of behind closed doors for a long time. So the whole puppy farming thing, which is atrocious,
and everyone loves puppies, right? You can't,
and it's worth a watch. That's, if I was gonna say check out a film, I'd say two actually. I'd say first, if you're a queasy person, check out Food Inc. because it's not overly confronting, but it's very informative. And then two, if you're willing to delve a little deeper, Earthlings is probably the next step.
Absolutely. I have a list of documentaries I always recommend people check out if they like my fan page, because it mainly talks about a whole bunch of relevant issues and health and all that kind of stuff. And I put a list of them. One of the guys on the group said that I put a list of like top 10, and I think I put Earthlings as number 3 or something like that. And he said, well, I love everything you put there. I just think Earthlings should be number 1 because it gives people a perspective of just how this world works, and that we are basically all sentient life forms on this planet, and that you need to gain a certain level of respect for not only your fellow man, but your fellow... I mean, animals, I believe, are actual sentient beings. They have feelings, contrary to, believe it or not, some people believe. Ren Descartes, the freaking idiot, as amazing as philosopher as he was, made the argument that animals don't have souls and basically don't have feelings, and I think that's preposterous. Anyone that has a pet, I mean, forget the logic. The logic is pretty obvious. But on an experiential level, you can see that these things are sentient beings. They feel pain. And I think by watching documentaries like that, you gain an understanding of the fact that these things suffer. They go through a tremendous amount of pain. Anyone that's been into an abattoir can smell the death there. And I know that sounds like hippie crap, but those pigs are highly intelligent. I mean, they will run away. There have been so many scenes. Remember Joe Rogan speaking one time in his podcast about how he's this big guy, big activist for a whole bunch of things, and he's very hell-bent on meat and all that kind of stuff. He's a hunter. But
so he's got double standards.
Well, no. Well, look, he's completely consistent with what he believes, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that there was one time where he actually saw a guy kill a pig, right? And this other pig that was there, actually no, let me rephrase that. Basically, this guy killed pigs around other pigs, all right? So the pigs basically had an idea of when pigs were going to die. And there was one time he was around Joe Rogan, and there was a pig there, and he just said, look, I'm going to go get my gun, I'm going to shoot this pig. And as soon as he went to go get his rifle, the pig started screaming. It basically knew what was going to happen, and it acknowledged the fact that it was this corporeal physical being that had this finite existence, and it was about to be vamooshed out of reality, and it screamed just like any sentient being would do. And Joe Rogan, because he's I have my issues with that guy. He's freaking amazing. I have respect.
I rate Joe Rogan very high.
Yeah, so do I. He's the freaking man. But one thing for certain is he's highly perceptive, and one thing I really appreciate about what he said was he acknowledged the fact that pig knew that it was going to die. Yeah. As a result, man, like, he felt really bad about it, and like didn't eat pork for a whole month or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is it gives you appreciation for the fact that these things are sentient beings, and if it's simply just going to broaden your appreciation for beings and how your food arrives at your your plate, then you should watch that documentary.
Yeah, it's easy when you're not there and you don't see exactly how it goes on.
Absolutely.
I think it's very important for people to be more connected in general. So this is going to go a little off topic here, but people need to be more connected with, one, themselves, two, the people around them, and three, with nature, animals, etc.
Absolutely.
And you can do that, man. It's easy as driving past. You drive past a paddock. How often do you look in and go, oh, you know what, I'm going to stop and try, just get a couple of photos with these cows or something. You go up to them, you check them out. They've got personalities. They're super cool. And you're like, man, cows are rad. As if I want to eat one of you guys. But what I was getting at is, the lack of connection, obviously, and everyone knows it. It's very evident. There's, you get on a tram, and what's everyone doing? They're all sitting
That's
on their
so
phone.
true. That's the
People
age we're in. We've been so disconnected from nature. I mean, we feel as if there's nature, then there's us, but we don't actually realize that we're a part of nature. And I think the sheer nature of the way that our society is set up, that we're living in these little houses. I mean, I'm not even anywhere near land or ground right now, let alone any trees or animals. And we've kind of disconnected from the fact that we are part of this whole thing. And without wanting to sound hippie, it is a scientific fact. I mean, basically, we live in this what's it called?
Cosmos.
No, well, it's not. I wasn't looking for that word.
Carl Sagan.
But Carl Sagan. I was about to go all Carl Sagan-esque on you, but I think there's a theory about systems reality, but how we're in this system, like we're all connected. Like obviously you have microorganisms, all right? Now they make up who you are. This physical being. We're made up of 50 trillion cells. Now within each of those cells, 50 trillion, there are actual universes within those cells. That's on the micro level. If we have a look on the macro level, we have a look at planets. You have a look at our planet, which is a freaking puny planet. You have a look at planet Earth in comparison to the sun. It's like a speck of dust. Jupiter is probably at least 10 times bigger. And I have this amazing video where you basically zoom into the micro level. You start off in the micro level, you zoom out, then you see someone's finger, and then you zoom out outside of past the stratosphere, the ionosphere. You zoom out, you see the planet Earth, and then you see our galaxy, and then you basically get to see how connected this whole system is, and you have these systems within systems. And what I'm trying to say is that we are part of this system, and I think when you have more of an appreciation for that, I think you become more connected, and you start to gel with this whole experience, and you feel like a full human being, as opposed to living in this crazy mindset that we sometimes are, and we end up being so disconnected.
You said a second ago, you don't want to sound too hippie and da-da-da.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, what have I
Let's
done
go,
now?
your go. You good.
Yo. But do you know Wonders of the Universe? Do you watch any Brian Cox?
No.
Dude.
Bro, you dropped a name, I'm gonna have to check.
Holy
because
shit, man.
with all the humility I can muster, son, it is rare for me to find like a name of some person so profound as, what's his name, Brian Cox?
Brian Cox, man.
That I have not stumbled upon on the internet these days. I'm constantly like YouTubing everyone, but I will definitely check that out.
Brian Cox has a few BBC series.
Okay.
Wonders of Life, Wonders of the Universe,
okay.
And what was the other one? Wonders of the Solar System, I think.
Wonders of the Solar System.
But he's a particle physicist, works at CERN.
Mm.
He's an absolute genius of a guy.
Okay.
But yeah, basically, in one of the episodes of Wonders of the Universe, he goes on to say how there are 4 things that scientists have recognized make up the universe, which would be, to make a universe, you need 4 things.
Mm.
Space, matter, energy, and time.
Okay.
And what I was going to do is relate that back to Alan Watts.
Okay.
With the energy thing, there's the whole, even if you don't believe in, a god, so to speak, yeah. I think everything is connected by a certain energy.
Absolutely.
Some people would call that God.
And it's just terms that we're using, right? I mean, if you want to call a God, unifying field, at the end of the day, I think regardless of if you're looking at from even the most atheistic mindset, maybe not an atheist might subscribe to it, but there is obviously some order. There is some kind of, I don't want to say intelligent, but there is a system in place. A logos is what the ancient Greeks would refer to as a plan, a blueprint that determines how things are, that animates, that gives things life, that causes them to lean towards more complex forms of creation. And the idea that everything is chance and everything is random, from a logical and from an intuitive perspective, the idea that I with all the humility I can muster, has arrived. This complex being has come from pure chance. I don't want to buy into that. But I personally believe, I mean, obviously we're throwing around concepts here like God, but whenever someone mentions that, all I think of is just some form of intelligence, something that has its own will. But damn smart. Just wanted to rant about that shit.
What's that?
But I'm just saying, I tend to go on these long rants, bro. But yeah, you were talking about this Bill Cox guy and his systems approach. Brian Cox.
Yes, dude. Honestly, it's one of the bit. Oh, actually, that was the other thing I was going to say. You're talking about the zooming out. This is another thing I'm just recommending whoever's listening. Brian Cox, Wonders of the Universe. If you have any interest in space at all and want to know about the universe, watch that series. It will blow your mind. And I'm not getting paid to say that. I just really love the show.
Crazy.
And the other thing I saw recently was, you were talking about zooming out outside of the planet, outside of the stratosphere, atmosphere, the Hidden Universe was at IMAX. Did you happen to see that?
Hidden Universe. I will see it because I love that shit. I'm a nerd for that kind of stuff.
I don't know if it's still there. I don't know if it's still on.
Yeah.
But it was on recently and you could see it in 3D and all that. But man, it is mind blowing when you see how far
speak up in the microphone, just tilt it up a little. Yeah, that's sweet. That's cool. It's good. No, it's good.
Yeah, when you see how far out the Hubble has actually gone and captured.
That's right.
It's very humbling.
It is. There's a guy called Jason Silver that talks a lot about that kind of stuff. He's got this brilliant metaphor to describe how I don't want to butcher it, but with my own words, the Hubble telescope is like I lost it, but he has this brilliant, eloquently articulated analogy of what the Hubble telescope is to the universe and how we have an insight into seeing this amazing thing that we are caught up in.
What's that dude's name?
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
No, not that.
No, Jason Silver?
No, not that. You and I went and saw Thor, alright?
Okay.
The gatekeeper guy, what's his name? The big
Odin.
Dude.
Oh wait, no. Oh, the gatekeeper.
The guy with the helmet and he stands there.
What's
his name?
It's Hein something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hubble's that guy.
That guy basically has the ability to see everything.
Yeah.
Hein, yeah. We just that's right. We did see Thor, which was freaking amazing. My friend was telling me that there's a dude like him in the Vedic text as well, but apparently this guy that has the ability to see everything, to see through space, through the universe. And Hubble telescope basically that's a great metaphor for Hubble telescope. It's pretty humbling to get a glimpse of what this entire thing is. But Haydn, brother, let's wind this thing down because I know you're a busy man. I think we've I like to keep these things down around an hour. I think we've exceeded that because you're such an insightful and
it's gone pretty long, hey?
Awesome listener. Because I've been ranting on about all this shit and it's all about you, bro.
It's been good fun, man.
But listen, if people want to get in touch with you, they want to check out your personal training regime. They want to learn more about diet and how to be all swole and whatnot, and or maybe even get in touch with your girlfriend because she's a nutritionist. Bruh, let us know the deets. Social media.
Yeah.
Where do we get in touch?
Too easy, man. So I've got a fitness page that I was running a little while ago. Basically, you just type in "Get Fit with DOS," as in MS DOS. Yeah, that's
MS
it.
DOS.
That's my nickname.
Okay. How did that come about?
Haydos.
Haydos.
Yeah.
Haydos. Haydos. I'm still not
I don't know. Just one of those Haydos.
Haydos. That's
and
cool,
then
man.
It's just DOS.
Get Fit with DOS.
Get Fit with DOS. Now there was a bit of a conflict of interest between myself and my current employer, about running that page. So I haven't put any material on for a long time. But if anyone wants to get in contact, and add that page, and they can send me private messages or whatever. And if they've got any questions about nutrition or working out, I'm happy to answer them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Bruh, I feel as if we've really gotten a chance to connect, man. You've got an insight into how freaking retarded I am, man, and how much I like to talk over people. I'm sorry about that, man.
That's alright.
But I really have enjoyed talking to you, man, getting to know more about what you do and all that kind of stuff, bro. It's been awesome hanging out with you over the last few months, bro. And we got to do dinner, man. I'm developing a serious man crush on you, bro.
Veggie Hut.
Yeah. And, bro, you're going to have to introduce me to all these cool other dudes like Billy Simmons, bro.
We'll G something out.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Crucial Journey podcast. Be sure to just tell a friend about this thing, and let's keep this thing rolling. You can check out the website, theartofcrucial.com. It's up there on the top right-hand corner. I'm on everything. I'm on everything. I'm all pervasive, like Heingard, I think it is, or the Hubble telescope. I am everywhere. I am everything.
The omnipotent.
And ridiculously arrogant, as you can see. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been fun. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. Until next time, peace out. Keep it real. Don't drive and text. Ow! Oh!
Now you put water into a
All right, bro. That was a lot of fun. That was a really good podcast. No, well, it's still recording now, but it's not. The music is kind of over.